Hello and welcome to your first Spanish lesson. So today we're going to be talking about some conversation basics like what's your name and how are you, and how to answer those questions, and also talk about some vowels, which are kind of the key to pronunciation in Spanish. So we're going to begin by doing some introductions. So in order to ask someone what their name is in Spanish, we have this phrase here, and it is ¿Cómo te llamas? So I'm going to repeat that again and try to repeat that after me. I'll give you a few seconds. So the question is, ¿Cómo te llamas? So hopefully you repeated that. As you'll notice, como, that's something we could probably guess how that's pronounced. Te, a little different, but pretty easy. The weird thing here with this pronunciation of this phrase is the double L here in llamas. When we have a double L in Spanish, we're going to pronounce it kind of like a Y, so llamas. So when you see the double L, it's not llamas, like we would say that. We're not talking about the animal, but it would be llamas. So let's try repeating that again. I'll say it once and you repeat after me. ¿Cómo te llamas? All right, and then in order to respond, you're gonna say me llamo Savannah, or me llamo, and whatever your name is. Now, a big thing that people want to say is they want to say me llamo es, because we're saying my name is. Literally, that's not what this means. The question here, ¿Cómo te llamas?, is not asking what's your name, it's asking how are you called. So the literal translation here is a little different. So we're saying I am called, and then your name. So you don't want to throw that as in there. That is not correct. People do it all the time, but it's not correct. So it's ¿Cómo te llamas?, to ask the question, and then me llamo and your name to repeat. So I'll give you a chance to repeat the me llamo, and you can add your name in at the end. So repeat after me. Me llamo Savannah. If you're like my elementary students, you probably repeated and said me llamo Savannah, but hopefully you said your actual name. So let's practice our pronunciation here with these a little bit, and then I'll give you some time to practice with your with a partner. So repiten, ¿Cómo te llamas? Me llamo Savannah. Muy bien. So you can pause the video and work with someone or practice with yourself, asking and answering what is your name. All right, so hopefully you've had a little bit of a chance to practice that. The next question that we want to talk about, oh, I forgot I put this video on here. So if you want, you can play this video, and well, I'll play this video. If you want to skip forward, it's just a couple minutes long, so you don't have to watch it. But it's a kind of a fun video, and it will get the ¿Cómo te llamas? Stuck in your name, or stuck in your head. Oops.
¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? I really want to know. My name is Rosie, me llamo Rosie. My name is Rosie, me llamo Rosie. My name is Rosie, me llamo Rosie. I'm really glad you know. ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? I really want to know. My name is Andy, me llamo Andy. My name is Andy, me llamo Andy. My name is Andy, me llamo Andy. I'm really glad you know. ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? We really want to know. So now it's your turn to play along. Please will you sing with us our little song? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? We really want to know.
Me llamo Isabel. Me llamo Kate. Me llamo Charlie. Me llamo Jaina. Me llamo Allie.
We're so glad we know. We're so glad we know. We're so glad we know.
All right, so now on to our next piece of conversation, which is asking and answering how are you in Spanish. So we're going to talk a little bit about some emociones or some feelings. But first, let's talk about how to ask and answer how are you in Spanish. So to ask how are you in Spanish, we ask ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? So repeat after me. ¿Cómo estás? And that's asking, how are you? We only have two words in Spanish because the R and U are combined there in estás. And you'll notice the accent marks over the vowels. Anytime you see an accent mark over a vowel, that's kind of telling you which syllable we're going to put the stress on. So it's not really something we have to worry about a lot. But when you are writing words, you want to make sure that you copy down those accent marks because sometimes having them or not having them changes the meaning of the word. So moving on, let's try this again. Let's ask, ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. Now, we're going to move on to some ways that you can respond to this, but what you can always use to answer this question, so we're asking, how are you? The way you can answer that is by saying, yo estoy. So you say, yo estoy is I am. We have another word that can also mean I am, but for right now, we're just going to focus on this one. So repiten, yo estoy. Yo estoy. And that's saying that I am. All right, so some ways that you can answer this question. So you can say, yo estoy bien. So repiten, bien. Bien means well or good, meaning you're feeling well. We say good in English, but that's grammatically not correct. So bien is the better word there. So repiten, bien. You can say, yo estoy bien if you're saying I'm doing well. Another thing you could say is, yo estoy mal. So repiten, mal. Mal. And mal does not mean bad. I mean, it does mean bad. It does not mean mad. It means bad or poor, like you're feeling poorly. So yo estoy mal. I'm not doing well. Another you can say is feliz. So repiten, feliz. Feliz. You've probably heard feliz in talking about Feliz Navidad when it means merry in Merry Christmas. So feliz means happy or merry, something like that. So feliz is another way you can respond. Again, with all of these, you're going to add it on to saying yo estoy bien, yo estoy mal, yo estoy feliz, and so on. The opposite of feliz, triste. Repiten, triste. Triste. Triste means sad. You can also say things like emocionado. Emocionado. And emocionado means excited. It looks like emotion, and if you think about it, when you're excited, you're full of a lot of emotion. So that's kind of where that word comes from. Now, we didn't see this with bien, mal, feliz, and triste. All of those end in either a consonant or E. And because of that, we don't really have to worry about whether we are a boy or a girl. When you see a word like emocionado that ends here in an O, and you are female, or you are talking about someone who is female, you're going to change that O to an A. So for example, I would not say yo estoy emocionado. I would say yo estoy emocionada. So if you'd like, you can practice saying the feminine version of that word. Repeat then, emocionada. Right? Another word that's going to follow that same rule means sick, and that is enfermo. Enfermo. Or again, if you're a female, you would say enferma. Enferma. And that is meaning sick. It's a cognate or a word that's related to the English word infirmed or infirmary. It kind of has that same root. So this is part 1 of our video. I'm going to pause and we will go back, or we will continue in just a moment.